was Anthony Joshua, right? Who was having kind of this weird thing, right? He's 34. He's in the middle of his kind of end of his kind of like you're kind of like 30 to 40-year-old thing for the heavyweights is kind of like where you make all your money. You got rid of those old contracts and you fight this guy Otto Wallen, who's a very accomplished fighter. Anthony Joshua is, you know, the big draw. He really is. He has a clean personal life for the most part, and he had a really great record. He lost to Andy Ruiz. He got that win back. He lost to um, Usyk, the current champion, who's going to fight Tyson Fury in February, which is going to be one of the biggest fights because that will literally unify all the belts. He lost twice to him, right? That was in 21 and 22. He fought twice in 22, and this was his second fight in 23. So he's staying relatively active, right? 2 fights a year. Again, I don't know if that's enough. And 3 fights a year, I think, is a great number for you to kind of clean out the divisions, stay active. You don't have any worries. It forces these promoters to put fights on for you. It forces you to be in the spotlight in the kind of lexicon of sports, the search engine, Google. You're going to be in there prominently, right? And Anthony Joshua figured it out, right? This was a good fight, but he seemed like he was mentally there, just like I talked about how Deontay Wilder wasn't mentally checked in. Anthony Joshua was mentally checked into this fight. He knew that he was going to fight this guy that was a very game fighter, right? You got Otto Wallen is 33 years old, right? He's not a rookie, right? And he's got 29 wins. No, 26 wins. He's 26 and 2, right? He was 26 and 1 at the time. 26 and 1 and 1, no contest, right? He lost to Tyson Fury too. But he's had a couple wins, right? Since 2020, he's had 3-6. This was a 7 fight since 2020. So it's a mid-level of activity, right? You figure 2 fights a year, right? More or less, right? 2023, he fought 3 times. So Wallen needs to get back on the horse and fight again, right? Another 3 fights, he'll get some more ring time, he'll get more experience, and he'll get to that point. Now, Anthony Joshua, his mindset, now somebody like Anthony Joshua's caliber, because he's 34 years old, it could have went a bunch of different ways, right? But one of the things that's interesting about him is, he's had 3 wins. He fought 3 times in 2023. Now, some of these other guys that he's beaten, they haven't been the hugest names, but he's building it up, right? He's building it up, right? I think the 2 losses to Usyk, one in 21 and one in 22, and then he fought Andy Ruiz and got those fights. It's like Joshua kind of had this weird he was kind of floating. He kind of didn't know where he was going with it. And he's a huge draw. He's internationally famous. Anthony Joshua is the guy, right? He's sponsored by Under Armour. I mean, he's the stereotypical prize fighter. And you want him to see him be successful and have the energy. And you can see the compare and contrast to him versus Deontay Wilder. While Wilder's a little bit older, I don't know that Wilder would be up for fighting Joshua because Joshua looked like he kind of reset himself mentally. Sometimes they do that by just kind of taking extended time off. Sometimes they do that by changing trainers, changing location, changing where they live. And I'm sure that Joshua has done some of that because he did something. Because some of these other fights that he had, the Andy Ruiz fight, the first one, and the Usyk fight, it seemed like he was a little bit checked out. Right? It could be what was going on from 2021, 22. Could have been all that, but he fought 3 times this year. Are the fighters super popular, super well known? No. And the reason why he can get away with that, is because of the fact that he's such a huge draw on his own. So if the fight ever happens where he fights Tyson Fury, right? If he gets to fight Tyson Fury, Joseph Parker hasn't fought Tyson Fury. I would like to see Joseph Parker fight Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. I think Joshua's already beat Joseph Parker, but Tyson Fury is not getting any younger. He's 35 years old. So that fight needs to start developing, or Tyson Fury and him because of getting these victories, Joshua needs another big fight. But I like to see Joshua fight 3 times again this year, have 2 warm-up fights and one big one, and maybe in 25 or 26, Tyson Fury and him should fight. If if Tyson Fury can get through Usyk and unify all the belts, then Anthony Joshua can fight him. You have Andy Ruiz can fight him. You have Joseph Parker. Those are 3 good fights for Tyson Fury that'll probably end his career. And what I mean by that is retirement, right? So Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is the fight to see. That's going to get all the eyeballs. And I think that Anthony Joshua in this fight against Otto Wallin, who was a game fighter, but his personality, he's not there yet, right? He doesn't have the personality appeal that is universal that Anthony Joshua has. So Anthony Joshua is a huge draw. Tyson Fury is a huge draw, and that fight would do huge numbers. Now you want to build up to that, and you don't want there to be restrictions in terms of, the promoters. Oh, I don't want this to be this and that. So now that if Tyson Fury gets this win, then you get rid of a heavyweight like Usyk who doesn't have the international appeal that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have. And that's the thing that benefits Anthony Joshua a lot is his huge draw. He goes in London, the O2 Arena, sells that out, goes to Saudi Arabia, does well. He can go anywhere and sell out. I'm sure if he has a fight in the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, it's going to sell out. Hell, he can have a fight in Dallas Cowboy Stadium that holds 93,000. He could probably sell that out in the Tyson Fury fight. They could probably sell that out. That would be huge. But Anthony Joshua, to put a cap on this, he did what he was supposed to do, and he was aggressive. He was prize fighter aggressive. He did not want to just let the fight go by and let things happen. He was interested in getting this victory. And I like to see that. I love to see that. It was a very interesting thing. You saw the level of activity that Anthony Joshua was displaying, where he was letting you know, I'm a prize fighter. I'm not going to take rounds off per se. I'm going to try to make this interesting and use my technique and frame it as a prize fighter where you're not only an accomplished fighter, but you're using that showmanship like Muhammad Ali did, like the Mike Tysons do, where it's a show, right? It's an event. And true prize fighters like the Conor McGregors, Floyd Mayweathers, they make this all an event. And that's what true prize fight. Oscar De La Hoya, you have all these fighters, right? And be willing to give interviews, be willing to talk, be vulnerable, give your time up. That's the thing. That's a challenge. And we're going to wrap this up in a minute here. Is Anthony Joshua, when you get into the rank of true prize fighter, right? You have to give all these interviews. You have to give up a lot of your time. So you have to juggle your training, your focus with being in the spotlight, and you have to also do what you're supposed to do. See, that's what's interesting about the whole thing. Everybody thinks that these fight like Anthony Joshua, like a Tyson Fury, they get pulled in 70 different directions. And in those 70 different directions, you're still able to accomplish your goal. So anyways, I thought it was a good fight. So what are your thoughts on all these things? I'm going to try to post these in separate videos, but like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Comment in the videos. And yeah,